YouTube followers, and welcome to Take 5 with Nanette. This morning I'm in my music room. It's not a usual place for me to do recording, but it's the quietest place in my house this morning. And so that's where I'm sitting. And we're going to look at some nuggets of truth that have the potential to help you learn to think for a change. And what better time to do that than the beginning of a new year? The time when a lot of times people set goals. They set new goals. But you know, there's people who have been discouraged with goals, and they actually don't set goals anymore. And part of the reason they don't set goals is because they feel like it's a ridiculous thing because, you know, I don't meet them. Life happens and everything changes. And so why make a plan? And they feel condemnation because they set goals and don't reach them. Some people set them in their mind and then never write them down. But today I want to talk about a little bit about why people might not meet their goals and why people might get discouraged with setting goals at the beginning of the year. It's interesting. There's a person who was very impactful in my walk with the Lord, and his name was Kim Clement, and he has a song that I love, and it says in that song, I'm somewhere in the future and I look much better than I look right now. Well, I was thinking about that as I thought about goals this morning, and why do we not set them? Why do we get discouraged by them? Why do we set them and not meet them? A good number of people don't meet the goals that they set at the beginning of the year and then feel like they failed in a lot of ways. Why would that be? Why would we not meet goals? Well, there are several reasons why we don't meet goals. And one of those reasons is that there are different kind of goals. And we set a goal that's way up here, and it's a great goal. But what we fail to realize is there's several benchmarks. If we'd sit and look at what it's going to take to reach that goal, there's several benchmarks. And we need to set those benchmarks as, let's call them mini goals. We need to set those benchmarks, and then we need to celebrate when we reach those benchmarks. A lot of times people don't celebrate enough, and celebrating, I don't know about you, but when I feel celebrated, when I am celebrating someone else, it like gives me courage. It gives me courage to keep going on, to keep doing what I've been doing. So when you celebrate at those small benchmarks and you break it down into bite-sized pieces, you have a greater chance of meeting that goal. But that's not our main focus today. Our main focus has to do with you. Has to do with the systems that we have developed, or habits. You can call them either, whatever you want to call them. But the systems are the habits that we have. You have a system for brushing your teeth. You have a system for your coffee. You know, we actually are people who like systems. Even if you think you don't like systems, you have systems. I can guarantee you. Come talk to me for a couple hours and I'll be able to point out your systems to you. But we have systems or habits that are causing us to be who we are. So if we have a goal of being someone different or someplace different in our life that we've had trouble getting to, those habits and systems are going to have to change. They're going to have to look different than they have. So the question for us to start with is, let's say, and this is not a goal of mine, for those of you who know my history and the struggle with the eating disorder I had for so many years and do not have anymore. But if it was my goal to lose 100 pounds by next year, that's a pretty lofty goal. And some of you might feel hopeless about 50, or some of you might feel hopeless about 20. But let's say that that's your goal, to lose 100 pounds. You've got to ask yourself, start asking yourself, okay, who do I need to be today, this week? What is that going to look like for me to be that person a year from now? What habits am I going to need to form today, right now, in order to be that person? Now, we start off doing that, and we might, that's why so many people join gyms. They do all that kind of stuff. We start off doing that, but then after a certain amount of time, we quit doing that. And part of it is because we've set this lofty goal and we're not celebrating what we're doing. So let's start with the small changes we would need to make. It's interesting to me, in all my years of coaching, one of the things that's occurred to me, it's just like in archery. It's those small changes in the trajectory of an arrow that actually over the long haul cause it to veer off this direction, which is not the direction you wanted it to go. You're aiming at this here. Sorry, there's my Band-Aid. And I know this is longer than 5 minutes, but I'm trying to get this across today and then lay a basis for what we're going to talk about for the next few times. So if this is going off like this, it's that small change that doesn't seem to be big right now, but it has the potential to take you in over here. So if we will make that change now and practice living that and being that person, it has a greater potential of taking us this direction. So ask yourself, for the goals you set, who do I need to be today? What does that look like today in my life? If I am that person a year from now, what does that look like? And how do I need to break down the steps so that I can celebrate myself through each step of the process? Start with one change today in those areas that you have set goals. And if you haven't set goals, don't be afraid to. Think about an area of your life that you know you're not being the best version of you. And let's just start there. I am, because I know that if I learn to think differently and change what I believe and what I'm thinking, I can change the patterns in my life and the result. Have a great day and can't wait to talk to you again. Thanks for listening.